Hi, hello, my dear students. Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to this wonderful video session in which we are going to discuss animal tissues, which is taken from class 9th. All right, I think this is the first class we are going to take in English medium. It can be useful to you. I hope this. Okay, all right. Before we get into the class, we have to be reminded once again about tissue. So we already studied about tissue. Anyhow, once again, we have to remind it. What is meant by tissue? A tissue is a group of cells or cluster of cells. Those are similar in structure and formed together to perform a specific function in animals or plants is called tissue. Okay, got my point? Tissue is a group of cells and also those are similar in structure, just like you can see here. Yeah, in the tissue, all the cells are similar in structure and formed together to perform a specific function is called tissue. Okay, all right. These tissues are differ from one to each other in concurrence with their specific functions, so that these tissues can be classified into the four types in animals. One of them is epithelial tissue and second one muscular, and on the other hand connective tissue and nervous tissue. So one by one we are going to learn clearly and thoroughly in view of the DS exam. So whenever and wherever I emphasize twice anything while teaching, you guys make a note of it, because every point I will teach in this lesson is important view of DS exam. So and keep in mind everything. Okay, this epithelial tissue can be classified into simple squamous and stratified squamous, columnar epithelium and ciliated columnar, cuboidal and glandular. So let us discuss some general characteristics of the epithelial tissue. One of the first is covering or protective tissues in the animals. Covering or protective tissues in the animals are completely epithelial tissues, and also epithelial tissue covers the most organs and cavities within the body. It also form a barrier to keep different body systems and separate. Okay, and for example, yeah, we can see here skin and the lining of the mouth and blood vessels, and also lung alveoli and kidney tubulars are made up of with the epithelial tissue. Okay, and in this tissue the cells are tightly packed. Yeah, I mean there is no intracellular spaces and small amount of cementing between the cells, and also there is no intracellular spaces like, yeah, assume that this is a cell and another cell, there is no intercellular spaces between these two cells are called cellular spaces. Yeah, in this tissue there has no intracellular spaces, and also these tissues are made up of multiple layers. So at least cross the one layer of the epithelial tissue, and it plays an important role in regulating the exchange of materials through the epithelium tissue from outer layer to inner layer to outer layer. I mean from out to in into out, like. Okay, so yeah, based on the unique functions of these tissues, it can be further divided into or classified into so many others, as we already discussed. So squamous epithelium, what does it mean? Squama means the scales of a skin. Okay, flat like structures, flat like cells made up of squamous epithelium. So in this epithelium, the cells in this epithelium extremely thin and flat. As you can see here, yeah, thin and flat, and form a lining, and also arranged edge to edge, forming a delicate lining and covering. Okay, and it forms the lining of the cavities and gut ducts and blood vessels, lining of the chambers of heart, and covers the skin and lining mouth. Okay, forms the lining of the ducts and blood vessels, covers the skin and lining of the mouth and chambers of the heart. And also, yeah, it provides a protection to the underlying parts against the abrasion and entry of germs or chemicals. Yeah, and also we can found this squamous epithelium in the organs of lining of the mouth and esophagus. The second one is stratified epithelium. Stratified epithelium, actually this is a compound epithelium in which cells are arranged in multiple layers. As you can see here, this is a stratified epithelium in which the multiple layers you can see here. Okay, below the epithelial tissue, this is a connective tissue. Okay, will be discussing later. Yeah, we can find in this tissue wear and tear places like such as skin and lying of the mouth cavities. Okay, we can found this tissue in the skin. Yeah, actually skin is made up of stratified epithelium. Okay, very important. Skin is made up of stratified epithelium. Okay, you guys make a note of it. And also We can also found in lining of the mouth cavity, okay, buccal cavity also we can call it buccal cavity. So the third one is columnar epithelium. So columnar epithelium, in this tissue, this tissue comprises of the cells which are much more longer than the broad and look like a column. Yes, you can see here, these cells are much more longer than the broad, okay, and also it forms a lining of the stomach, and also intestines also found in salivary glands in the mouth, and in the intestines the columnar epithelium is specialized for the absorption of water and digested food that we eat. Ciliated epithelium, actually you can see here, usually comprises of cuboidal or columnar cells which has a numerous thin, delicate and hair-like projections called cilia. Yeah, you can see here cilia arising from the outer surface of the cells. These are called cilia, okay. This helps in movement of mucus, very important, movement of mucus. Which epithelium is helps in movement of mucus? Ciliated epithelium, okay, you guys make a note of it. And also urine, eggs, sperm and cerebrospinal fluid from in a particular description, okay. We can find this tissue in respiratory tracts, okay, very important, respiratory tracts. We can find the which tissue in the respiratory tracts? Ciliated epithelium we can found in respiratory tracts. Ciliated epithelium we can found it, okay. The next one is cuboidal epithelium. What is cuboidal epithelium? So cuboidal epithelium, what does it mean? In this tissue, cells are as long as broad, appear like a cube, okay. The cells are as long as broad like cuboid, okay. In these cells the nucleus is centrally located, okay. And also in this cuboidal epithelium tissue lines the small salivary ducts and pancreatic ducts and sweat glands, okay. And also it helps in projection, secretion, absorption and excretion and gamete formation, okay, very important. We can found it kidney tubules and ducts of salivary glands, okay, very important, kidney tubules and ducts of salivary glands. The last epithelium in the epithelium tissue are glandular epithelium. In this tissue actually comprises of columnar cells modified to secrete chemicals, okay, and it lines the glands such as gastric glands and pancreatic lobules and intestinal glands. This is all about epithelium tissue. Then we move to muscular tissue. What is meant by muscular tissue? How many types are there and what are the functions of the muscular tissue? Let us one by one we are going to learn clearly. So muscular tissue, this tissue consists of elongated cells also called as muscle fibers, this tissue is responsible for movement in our body, and also it has a special protein called contractile protein which contract and relax to cause movement in our body, okay, you got it. Which protein? Muscle cells has contractile protein which contract and relax to cause the movement. Alright, based on the structure and location of this tissue, it can be classified into again striated and unstriated, or also striated also called as volunteer, involunteer, unstriated, and cardiac muscles. So muscular tissue can be classified into three types. One of those are striated or volunteer, unstriated or involunteer. The third one is cardiac muscle, okay. The first one is striated volunteer and skeletal muscle, also called as, both are these are same, the names are different but the function of this tissue is same. Striated voluntary and skeletal muscle. Striated muscle, so this tissue is responsible for voluntary movement in our body, like we can move some muscles by our conscious will, such muscles are called voluntary muscles, just like our hand, our legs, our body. So whatever the muscles moving by our will has consists of voluntary muscle or skeletal muscle. Okay, these muscles are attached to bones. Okay, and also helps in body movement. These muscles have some light or dark, just like here you can see here, dark or light bands or striations on the muscle. Hence they are called striated muscles. Okay, and also in this tissue cells are long and cylindrical and also unbranched multinucleated. In the nucleus of these cells are at the edge actually. Yeah, you can see here one of the cell we can take. The nucleus is actually not located in the center, yet at the edges in the cell the nucleus is located. Okay. These voluntary muscles are found in hands, as we already discussed, legs and skeletal muscles. Okay, this is all about striated or voluntary or skeletal muscle. The second one is unstriated or involuntary smooth muscles. Okay, in this tissue actually, in our body we can't move some muscles by our own wish, our own will. Such muscles are called actually unstriated muscles. Okay, so the body movements not in our will, and also and contraction and relaxation of the blood vessel or food movement in the alimentary canal are involuntary. So such muscles are called involuntary or smooth muscles. Okay, so in this tissue cells doesn't show any bands like striated muscles. Yeah, smooth muscles with has no bands on it and pointed ends, just like you can see here, just pointed ends. Every cell has pointed end like a spindle shape, and also uninucleated, it means only one nucleus in the cell and also centrally located in the cell. Okay, this is all about unstriated or involuntary muscles. We can found it in iris of the eye and also in ureters, in bronchi of the lungs and esophagus and blood vessels. Cardiac muscle, these muscles are also called involuntary muscle because of the movement in the heart cannot be done by our conscious will. Okay, and the muscles of the heart shows a rhythmic contraction and relaxation throughout the life. Once it stops relaxation and contraction, yeah, one life ends. So it means is a very important crucial in our life, every life. These muscles are called cardiac muscles. Okay, and also cardiac muscles has every cell has cylindrical shape and also branched like structures. Yeah, one of the cell is like and also other cell attached with the another cell. Yeah, so that is why called branched cells and also uninucleate. It means only one nucleus in the cell and centrally located means center point of the cell. Unlike striated muscles, in the striated muscles multinucleated, it means one or more nucleus at the edges of the cells. In the striated muscles you can see here. So in the cardiac muscle only one nucleus which is centrally located in the cell. All right, so actually we can found in heart. The third one is nervous tissue. In this tissue, cells are highly specialized for being stimulated and then transmitting the stimulus very rapidly from one place to another place within the body. You got it? Yeah, we got one stimuli. It can be transferred by the neuron one place to another place within the body. So these cells are highly specialized. Unlike other cells in the body, these cells are highly specialized. Okay, and also the nervous tissue comprises of the brain, the spinal cord, and nerves. Okay, and also in this tissue cells are called, as we already know, that neurons. You can see here the whole picture of the neuron. Okay, out of which, yeah, you can every neuron has a cell body, and also in the cell body have a liquid substance called cytoplasm. Cell body plus cytoplasm called cyton. in this place. Okay, and also in the nuclear, in the cytoplasm, you can see here a clear nucleus present in the centrally located in the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm plus nucleus and cell body called cyton, from which a long and short like parts arises from the cell body called, the short projections called dendrites and the long projection called axon. This is the axon, and these short form projections are called dendrites. Okay, and also every individual nerve cell may be up to 1 meter long. 1 meter long, the longest cell in the body is nerve cell. And also these nerve cells are plays an important role in nerve impulse. What does it mean? A signal that passes along with the nerve fiber is called nerve impulse. Okay, a signal that can be passes through the fiber nerve fiber is called nerve impulse. Just like if one mosquito or anything bite your skin, the stimuli can be transferred through the nerve from dendrites to cell body to axon to axon tendrils. Just like in the way one stimuli can be transferred to the one place to another place, this is called a nerve impulse. So in this nerve impulse, one nerve cell is highly specialized to take a stimuli and transfer to one place to another place in the within the body. So that is why nerves are very important. Once the nerve cells are dead, we can't get any stimuli from outside of the body. Okay, and also we can't respond to anything. If the nerve cells are dead, if the nerve cells are damaged, if the nerve cells are not properly working in our body, we can't get anything, the stimuli, we can't get the response from the brain. And also these nerve cells are actually working together with the muscle tissue. Okay, the functional combination of the nerve and muscle tissue is fundamental to most of animals, all the animals in the actually multicellular animals. The functional combination of the nerve and muscle tissue is a fundamental to all of the most animals. And also this combination enables animals to move rapidly in response to stimuli. You got it? This is all about the nerve tissue. So we are going to move on to the next tissue, that is called connective tissue. So this is the last tissue in which we are going to discuss all about the what are the connective tissues, what are the types, and what are the functions of the connective tissue, how many types are there. Everything we are clearly learned in the view of DS exam. So my dear students, keep focusing what I'm teaching you in this video session. The last one is connective tissue. So in this tissue, the cells are loosely spaced and also embedded in an intracellular matrix. What is meant by matrix? So matrix is a medium in which cells are dispersed, like in the plasma, RBC and WBC and platelets are dispersed or suspended, like yeah, hope you got my point. It may be jelly or fluid, like as in the blood, and also dense as in the bone and cartilage, or rigid and dense as in the ligament and tendon, and also rigid as in the bone and cartilage. Okay, and the nature of the matrix differs in concordance with the function of the particular connective tissue. So the based on the matrix nature, the connective tissue can be classified into loose connective tissue, which is comprised of areolar connective tissue and adipose connective tissue. So in this tissue, loose matrix are present. Okay, you got my point. And also dense connective tissue, which is comprised of or composed of ligament and also tendon. These are very very important view of DSC. Okay, and also liquid based matrix, which is comprised of blood and lymph system, which is not given in the textbook also, and also blood is given. Okay, and that last one is skeletal connective tissue, which is composed of bone and cartilage. So all of this we are going to discuss. The first one is blood. So blood So blood is a one of the connective tissue in which liquid matrix are present. In the liquid matrix, plasma is present. In the plasma, RBC, red blood corpuscles, and white blood corpuscles and platelets are suspended. Okay. So the plasma contains proteins and also salt and hormones, which enables the transport of gases due to the presence of hemoglobin RBC, so that it enables the bonding with the actually RBC bonding with the O2 and CO2 because of the presence of the hemoglobin in the RBC, so that it enables the transport of gases from cell to cell, and also it transport the digestive food like what does it mean? Yeah, nutrients takes and absorption from the small intestine, and takes the nutrients from intestines to transport from every cell in the body, and also hormones, just like nutrients also and hormones, it can be transferred through the blood from one place to another places, and also takes the waste material which is produced by the body. So this is the prime function of the blood. So blood is a connective tissue. Okay, you got my point. In which liquid matrix is present, this liquid matrix is called plasma. So next one is bone. So bone is another example of connective tissue. It forms the framework through the body and supports the body organs, and also in this tissue cells are embedded in the hard matrix. So that is skeletal matrix, which is comprised of calcium and phosphorus. Calcium and, very important, calcium and phosphorus. Okay, and also it is anchors the muscles, and also and the storage of in the storage site of calcium and phosphate or phosphorus, and also supports the main organs just like brain and lungs and tissues. And also bone provides the shape to the body and protects the vital body organs already we have discussed, such as brain and lungs and all the tissues. And also it has a strong and non-flexible tissue. Okay, yeah, which is produced by osteocytes. So the cells are called in the bone are osteocytes. Very, very important. Okay, and also it has a hollow cavity. Yeah, this is like, as you can see here, between the bone, hollow cavity, which is filled with the bone marrow. In this bone marrow, RBC are regenerated. Okay, this is all about bone. Next we move on to the cartilage. So cartilage, in this tissue cells are widely spaced, and also the tissue is semi-rigid tissue. Unlike bone, it can be folded. Some of the organs like ears, so the cartilage can be folded in the ear. So okay, in this tissue matrix is composed of proteins and sugars. Very, very important, which matrix is composed of proteins and sugars, you have to answer these. So matrix in the cartilage can be composed of proteins and sugars. Okay, and also in this tissue cells are large and angular shaped called chondrocytes. Very, very important. Okay, actually the chondrocytes are given in the pictorial in the textbook, so I have to mention here. So once again, what are chondrocytes? Where are they present? Chondrocytes are present in the cartilage. In this tissue, cells are large and also angular shaped called chondrocytes. And also cartilage smoothens the bone surfaces at joints. You can see here, this is a synovial bone, which is we are going to discuss in the intermediate level. So this is one of the bone. This is also bone. Yeah, end of this bone smoothens by the cartilage. Yeah, you can see here, white space area made up of cartilage. Okay, this is ligament, outer layer of the ligament. Yeah, in the inner part bone is covered up by cartilage, smoothens the surface of the bone. And also we can found in nose, ear and trachea and larynx, the sound box. This is all about cartilage. Ligaments, very, very important in the view of DS exam. Okay, so it has a small or little matrix very little matrix, and also very elastic tissue, very elastic. You can see here, these are two bones, these are two bones. This one is elastic called ligament, these are also ligament. The center part of made up of ligament. Okay, very elastic and a little matrix, and considerably strengthy tissue, connective tissue. Okay, it connects the bone to bone. It means two bones, in between two bones it has a connection between two bones called ligament. Very important, bone to bone. Okay na. Tendons, this is one also very important in view of DSC. What are the tendons? Where does we can find out in the body? Actually, these tissues are connect the bone to muscle. Bone to muscle. In our body, wherever the muscle is connected to the bone, in between these two tendons are present. Okay, yeah, you can see here, between humerus is the bone. Okay, these are the tendons. This is the muscle, and between the bone, in between these two tendons are present. Okay, actually fibrous tissue which has a great strength but limited flexibility. Okay, this is all about tendon. And also areolar connective tissue. Areolar connective tissue, actually, yeah, this tissue found between skin and muscles. Between skin and muscles we can found that areolar tissue. Okay, and also around the blood cells and in the nerves, in the bone marrow we can found out clearly. And also it has fills the space in the organs, and also helps in repair tissue and also support the internal organs. Okay, this is all about areolar tissue. And last one in the connective tissue is adipose tissue, which is the last tissue in the connective tissue which we are discussing right now. Actually we can find it in the body below the skin and between internal organs. Actually in the mutton shop or chicken shop we can find the adipose tissue like a fat attached to the liver, attached to the some organs, and also filled with the fat globules. In this tissue cells are filled with fat globules, so because of the storage stores the fat. Okay, and also this tissue acts as insulator because of the storage of the food in the body. Okay, so this is all about the animal tissues. So I hope you understand this lesson clearly.